It's a Friday, and it's Greg Asimakopoulos with today's My Rhymes and Reasons. Here on the east bluff of Queen Anne Hill in Seattle, Washington, this beautiful home sits atop a lookout, which for many years has been one of the places where tour buses came to allow visitors to the city to see across Lake Union to the University of Washington and parts of the city that, well, there's Gasworks Park. It used to be a active refinery, and I remember as a kid seeing Grandma's Cookies, a neon sign that would light up and spell where Grandma's cookies were being made not far away. This was a memory in my childhood because where this beautiful home now stands is where my grandparents lived. It was where I lived following college for a time. Holy ground, sacred space. But I picture this location today as one more picture, a visual aid of what it means for something to be redeemed, restored, renewed. My grandparents' home, which was built in 1953, was a brick home. It looked like it was a single level home, but actually had a basement. It wasn't anything in comparison to this expansive three-story home that currently stands on the same property. As I look at this place, many memories flood my mind. Christmases at grandparents' home where the family would gather. We would come together as cousins with our aunts and uncles. Our Norwegian grandparents would really treat us royally. It was amazing. And we would look through the big picture windows at the street below. That's Highway 99, Aurora Avenue. I can remember back in the day, my grandmother would help us identify motorcycle cops who would be looking for speeders, those exceeding the speed limit. And we'd hear the siren and we'd watch the policemen on their motorcycles pull cars over. What a memory that was. Inside we would play Chinese checkers, muggins. That's what my grandparents called flinch. Maybe you played the card game Flinch. We played it, but we referred to it as muggins. My grandfather, crippled from infancy with polio, spoke with broken English, was hunchbacked. He was not expected to survive childhood, but ended up living longer than his siblings. I've talked about Gunder Birkeland before, this hero of my life who became a Seattle business legend. Well, this is where my grandfather lived for the last 20 years of his life. He built 5 homes on Queen Anne Hill. He did not build the home that preceded this remodeled home, but he liked it because of its view. There are remodels that are in the process of being done in our lives, rebuilds, in order to get permitting for the people who own this home to build without exorbitant cost. They had to stay within the footprint of the original home, and they had to have original walls, bones, if you will. And they used that structure to build what currently exists. That's what I call God at work if you make the application to our spiritual lives. God taking what is and working with what exists, creating something that He has in mind of what will be. David, as he called out to the Lord, anticipated a God who heard and answered, so that when David said, "Restore to me the joy of my salvation," that which had been not existent for a while as David lived in disobedience, not acknowledging his adulterous affair with Bathsheba. He did not have the joy that once he had known as a shepherd boy, writing psalms and playing his harp and singing praise to God. That joy had evaporated. David longs for the good old days. He says, "God, take me as I am. Use the bones of this sinful man and build flesh around these bones that has a tender heart towards you." And that's exactly what God did in answering David's prayer. How can God answer that prayer in your life? As you stand looking not at the skyline of a city, not looking at a roadway. Oh, by the way, Highway 99 is the road that connected Vancouver, British Columbia with the Mexican border south of San Diego. It was Highway 99 before there was Interstate 5. As you look forward to your future, what do you see? More than buildings, more than water, more than a beautiful vista on a clear day when the Cascade Mountains are visible beyond the horizon. What do you see? I pray that you see that God has in mind for you and God has in mind for me. Lord, on this day, this final day of this week, we pause to ask that you would continue the construction project begun. As you remodel, as you remove barriers, as you take the footprint of our lives, remake us, remold us. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Thank you for joining me this week as we've considered life applications from Psalm 51. Well, this is the weekend of the Super Bowl. I don't know which team is yours. Do you have a dog in the fight? Enjoy the game, enjoy the weekend. Join me on Monday for My Rhymes and Reasons. And if you haven't checked out my blog for this week, check it out at myrhymesandreasons.com. Have a blessed day, and let's talk on Monday.